We should be live coming up soon. Starting. The cool thing is I like being hardwired because it's what do you call it? I can't think right now. I'm not skipping any frames or dropping frames or anything like that.
Right.
Boom. All right, there we are. All right, so welcome back to the Daily Fish Podcast. I'm Charles. This is Dustin, and we're gonna go over what happened week 11 in NFL and fancy wise. So we'll just go ahead and start it off with Buffalo at Cincinnati. Buffalo won 16-12. Uh, the biggest news out of that game was AJ Green going down very early and being out for a couple weeks. Uh, I was really hyped on the Tyrod Taylor, LaShawn McCoy, and LaShawn McCoy went out too, so that was very disappointing in that game. A lot of injuries this week.
Yeah. We played Tyrod in the lineup we made, and he
Got
sucked. And
burned.
I played a lot of AJ Green, not too much though. Luckily, I took him out of my cash game lineup, so
I know.
that
I
was
played him
good.
in almost everything. I loved him in this matchup for whatever reason.
Yeah, seemed good.
Hmm.
I mean, yeah, it was a pretty good week. Other than some injuries like that, played some Kirk Cousins and won some money.
Nice. Yeah, that Washington Green Bay game, that was definitely a crazy shootout. Even Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers had the most points for another quarterback, even though Kirk Cousins got second on both those lists at least.
Yeah,
Um, it's about to scroll around and I'm taking a look at it here. Kirk Cousins 27, which is third place in FanDuel, and second place on DraftKings. Both first place is Aaron Rodgers, which is pretty impressive. Because didn't what's his name end up with three touchdowns that game? Kirk Cousins.
oh yeah, and Fat Rob did too. Rob Kelly, the new workhorse for the Redskins.
Shit.
He's an interesting play, man.
Yeah, I think he was interesting before this week, and now that like he went off, like I don't know, like it's definitely going to be interesting coming up. This week I don't know if I would play him, but we can go into that a little bit more. The Philly Seattle game was definitely interesting too. Pretty much four running backs all got injured and are all out. I think this week at least. I haven't looked at the updated injury report, but it was just terrible. Like by halftime, Sproles, Procise, and Matthews were all out, and then all of a sudden Rawls is out, like beginning of third, like halfway through third quarter, and Seattle's got like um, a backup quarterback filling in as the running back position. So the big target, maybe for future Philly games, if you like Philly running backs, was it Barber or Smallwood or something like that? He might be in the
Yes,
string
Wendell
lineup.
Smallwood. I
Hmm.
don't know, man. Yeah, maybe in a tournament we play something like that, but they're not getting much work. Let's just go through kind of in like cherry pick some players that did well that we kind of that were put on our radar instead of like going through each game maybe.
Okay, so I mean, like, you want to pick out like surprise picks or anything like that? Is that what you want to do?
Or we can just be like, we were on these players and they did well, and here's where we were wrong. Kind of like
Okay.
analyzing what we thought, and kind of that way we can make some better decisions this week. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The one thing I learned, Zach Miller, I was big on him and I took him out last minute, and I'm never going to do that again. Like, if I ever have a feeling about someone, I want to run him. I had a feeling about James Crowder. He didn't make any of my lineups, but I had a good feeling about him too. Um, but I never played him. But like I said, I think I had someone else. I can't think. I think it was a running back that I ended up subbing out. But it was just like, why did like lesson that I learned over the weekend is once I have a lineup, unless something major happens, like an injury or anything like that, don't mess with
Yeah.
the lineup. Like, there's a reason why that person's in that lineup, unless it looks complete garbage. Um, let's see. You're right about Lamar Miller though. You're talking to
Yeah.
me about some Lamar Miller Monday night.
Oh yeah.
He was
He had a
definitely the
good game.
workhorse there. Yeah.
Um. Yeah. I mean, Dak did well. I had Dak,
Yeah,
Des
you're
stacks all over the place.
you're big on Dak all over the place. Des Bryant, you were all over too because what was it? The major corner was got injured or out like last minute or something like that. So
Yeah, Jimmy Smith.
there you go.
Yeah,
Jimmy
he
Smith was a game
he
time decision.
yeah he was out. So I definitely liked that.
Who is this?
I,
Malcolm Mitchell,
he's the
17th New England Patriots wide receiver. He's like the
yeah.
second
Remember?
best one on this list.
Do you remember we were talking about that game? I was like, it's gonna be Amendola or something funny, and it was, man. It was this guy, Malcolm Mitchell, I think his name is, right?
Yeah, Michael Mitchell.
Yeah, he's like a fringe wide receiver, dude. I think he was playing because Chris Hogan was out. So yeah, that was a
Okay.
good call. Well, we didn't call that, but I'm saying like that was a good play with Hogan being out.
Did he get a touchdown? I'm trying to see.
Yeah, yeah, he did.
Okay. Yeah, because I see here he's got 5 of 4 target. He was targeted 5 times, but he caught the ball 4 times. This is a big one. Crowder, 3 for 3. I thought he felt like he was targeted more than that game.
Yeah, I played him in cash and DraftKings and FanDuel. That was good. Cousins loves him, man.
Yeah, he does, and
That
especially in the
catch was
PPR
awesome
league.
too. That touchdown catch. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, that was sweet. All right. Well, let's. Do you want to talk about anything else from last week, or do you want to just kind of?
Not really. The only other thing that I was on was Minnesota Vikings defense over Arizona. Arizona gives up like I think they're second most giving up points to defenses. Um, I wasn't surprised there with that. I am a little surprised with Steelers. I mean, not Steelers. Never surprised with the Steelers against the Browns. Detroit Lions, though, they're the second most scored defenses this week, which is
Yeah,
pretty
I
impressive.
saw that kind of coming. The game that I definitely got wrong was Buffalo and Cincinnati. I thought that game could shoot out, and it just turned into this kind of crappy game because everyone was getting hurt.
Yeah, the two key injuries. So yeah, that definitely brought that game down to a very low for me. All right, let's go to this week's games, or we're only going over the Thursday dockets. So
Yeah.
all the games on Thanksgiving. First, we have Minnesota at Detroit. Detroit is a 2.5 point favorite, and the line is 43. And I
Which game are
think,
we talking about? I'm sorry.
don't you even listen? Minnesota at Detroit.
Okay.
Detroit's a 2.5 point favorite. How do you feel about this game?
Shoot. It's in Detroit. They're in a dome, which is cool. I mean, let me pull up this game and look at some of these players, man.
I mean, you have what Marvin Jones Jr. that might do something. This might be the breakout game for Tate randomly because Marvin Jones has been killing things lately, or it's been doing a lot better than
No, he
Tate, in
hasn't,
my
dude.
opinion.
In your opinion, no, dude.
What? Nah,
No,
Tate's absolute garbage in my opinion, season wise.
no. Tate's been lighting it up, man. Look at the stats.
Yeah, I'm about to
He
right
had
now. Hold
he
on.
had a bad game last week, but starting in like week, I don't know what week that is, October 16th, he had 26, 12, 7, 19. I mean, Marvin Jones hasn't really been doing anything, dude.
Well, he's definitely cooled off since the beginning of the year.
E- Exactly. So he might be interesting to play
Nah, I mean, look,
in tournaments,
look at that stat line. I mean, Marvin Jones has 20 more points season so far this season than Golden Tate.
right?
So I mean, like, um, my big thing is I had Marvin Jones. I mean, I do agree he is cooling off. He was very high at the very beginning, and
Yeah.
I drafted him in season long fantasy. But I feel like this is a game that one of those two receivers are going to have a really good game. Maybe he's going.
You do?
maybe he's Golden Tate. I have a good feeling about him going in this week. Even though he only put up 15 yards last week.
Yeah,
Um,
I could see that. And last time he played the Vikings 2 weeks ago, he had 12 targets, 11 receptions, 79, and a touchdown. So
yeah. I don't know if I like anyone else out of this. Like maybe Minnesota's Adam Thielen. I'm real big about him. I think he had a top 10 performance this week in fantasy, and you know, Vikings, Sam Bradford, they all seem to love him. He seems to be getting the most targets. Cordell Patterson might be a good pick.
that's someone that I would be interested in playing in a tournament.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, he's got tremendous upside. Did you see that punt? I think it was a punt return or kick
Yeah.
return. I mean, he was just so far away from everybody else, just hauling ass, man.
Well, what's his
He's
deal? Does he
fast.
have like bad hands or something like that? Like, he seems like he should be doing a lot more, or is it just like he's the number three receiver on that team because of
I,
Diggs?
I think he's a poor route runner
Okay.
and misses assignments. So Diggs is just a more complete receiver. But Patterson's definitely got the Jets to, you know, burn defenses deep. So I like him. I mean, the Lions, they're not a very good, pass defense. So they're in the dome. I could see Patterson doing something. Um, I'd like to see Laquan Treadwell get going, man. Like, he hasn't done anything this year. He was their first round pick. I would throw him in a tournament lineup, man, just to see.
You really think he's going to be a good tournament pick?
No, but I'm just saying, like, one of these weeks, if he starts getting going, I could see something. But yeah, I
Oh yeah,
like
he's got
Diggs.
absolutely nothing going on.
Yeah, I like Diggs on Minnesota side, and Patterson. I'm not really interested in anyone on the Lions side of the ball except for Theo Riddick. Um, and watch this be the week Dwayne Washington starts to get going. But he had 13 carries last week and didn't really do anything.
Yeah, most of those were garbage time carries. Like they're just like wasting clock time for the most part. Um,
Yeah,
the only I really Lions wide receivers now looking at it like the defense that they're playing against. Um, I think Golden Tate might be a stretch, but yeah, like I like Theo Riddick, but again, this matchup dependent where he's playing against a good defense. The running backs for the Vikings, one of those guys might randomly have a breakout game. I think because Detroit's not
yeah.
really a solid. I don't think of them as a solid like run defense. Do you?
No, I never think about running on the Lions. Wouldn't it be great if Jerick McKinnon just ripped it up one week? He had 16 carries last week against Arizona. I mean, he's kind of interesting. It says like on FanDuel, he's 18th. Their Lions are 18th against the rush.
Yeah, like
Get him
that's
going.
yeah that like if I'm playing in a tournament, I'm definitely liking one of the Minnesota running backs. Like even I think I don't know what happened last time they played each other, but I feel like one of them are going to have a really good game. Um, and
I
then
like that.
Minnesota's defense might be a good play for this week, just because Stafford might randomly turn over the ball a couple times. Um,
Get sacked.
yeah, that's definitely a big one. Definitely get a lot of sacks. Detroit offensive line is okay, but I mean it just seems like Minnesota their defense is definitely rolling. You definitely want them to be going with it. All right, so we'll go on to the next game because
No,
that
we
game is
like
definitely not exciting.
we like Theo Riddick though because you saw what David Johnson did against Minnesota last week. They get kind of beat up by pass catching running backs.
But is that because theoretic? Well, is that because David Johnson is David Johnson and a phenom, or is that because Detroit Lions are just bad against passing down running backs?
They're just bad against pass catching running backs.
Okay.
I don't have all the pass catching running backs they face, but I just know that it can be done. So I do like Theo Riddick. I think he could score twice.
All right, that's fair. I'll give you that. Who do you think is going to win this game? 2.5
I
point
think,
favorites at home is pretty even.
yeah, they don't you get 3 just for being home though?
Yeah, for the most part. So I mean, like Vikings are a half point ahead. I mean, like it can
I
go.
think Minnesota wins, dude.
Yeah, just overall the better team. Pretty much the better defense. Like they seem like the same team on offense, but defense definitely Minnesota has the advantage. All right. So we're on to the 4:30 game. Washington Redskins at Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys are a 7 point favorite with the over under being at 51. That over under is growing real quick.
Yeah.
Um, I definitely like Elliott. Dak, I don't know how much I like him because Josh Norman is a thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, Aaron Rodgers put up a lot of points, and they only scored 24 total points that game, didn't they? Yeah, 24 points. So I mean, the fact that you know, if you like Dak, you like Dez. I sort of don't like Dez right here, just because Josh Norman's going to be on him. But I mean, Dez
Right.
has such a good height advantage in the skill. It's like I don't know, like out of all the wide receivers that you have playing this week,
Right.
like not having Dez Bryant sort of seems like a bad play, honestly. Um,
Yeah, he's as on PFF, Dez is the lowest graded matchup, but I've got a feeling that he's going to light the Redskins up. I just they're in Dallas. They're, heavy favorites. Um they say he's going to be matched up like against Josh Norman, but Josh Norman just plays the right side of the field and Dez moves around. He plays in the slot and he'll play on the left.
mhm.
And he'll burn up Rashad Breeland, man.
Yeah, like I said, like this stud, like if you're only playing Thursday docket games on your lineups, and we're about to make one after we go over the last game, um,
Yes.
it sort of seems incorrect that you don't have Dez. Like the star power that you get in there, because if you get like Cole Beasley, Jason Witten, they might randomly do something, but they could easily just go like 65 yards and no touchdowns. It just help the offense move where Dez Bryant's getting like a lot of looks and especially in end zone situations, like Des Bryant is your guy. Besides the obvious other two, Ezekiel and Dak Prescott. What
Hmm.
about the other side of the ball with Washington? Do you think Dallas's defense is like? Do you think that's the reason why like this over under went from 48.5 to 51? Because Dallas's secondary isn't the greatest, so Washington has capabilities of airing out the ball with Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, I like the Dallas side of the ball much more.
Of course.
Um, yeah, I don't- as a Redskins fan, I just kind of feel like Kirk's gonna throw like 2 touchdowns and maybe Rob Kelly runs one in, if that. You know.
Hmm.
Um, I love some Dak, man. I'm probably gonna play a lot of Dak Prescott um, with Dez and Jason Witten. Um, there's a lot. This is the game you probably want to target more, like the Lions game. You probably just have a few plays from, and these next couple games where you want to, focus more.
Yeah, just because either A, the over under is higher, or just high power offenses like Cowboys. Even I don't see anything wrong with playing like James Crowder or anything like that. Being
Mm-mm.
that he gets the most, like almost the most targets, if not the most targets.
It seems like the Cowboys get kind of lit up by tight ends too. So like over the middle, I think they're weaker. So if you could roll out Jordan Reed or Jamison Crowder. Um,
I think Jordan
with
Reed's become a liability now because even though he's great, like watching that guy play is just amazing. Um, but with him and Vernon Davis, like Vernon Davis is actually balling out this year. Once Reed got hurt, he substituted for him, and then now they're running both of them in there. It almost seems like every other week, like the other one's doing. They're switching weeks on who's the main target or tight end. Um,
Yeah,
but
I'm
but
not buying it. I'm not buying that. But yeah,
you're not buying that? Okay, I mean that's fair. Like I said, that's just my opinion. It's definitely just ebb and flow of the game because Kirk Cousins, he's going to throw to whoever he thinks he can throw to,
exactly.
which is why I really like Crowder because he seems to be on top almost every single time, especially in targets. It's
Yeah.
crazy how many times that guy's targeted, and he's like the third wide receiver on that team.
Who do
Um,
you like for like a tournament play here? I got a couple I wanted to talk about.
I like Garcon, even though he's like the top five running back last week. I'm liking Garcon, just because I still don't think he's going to be super heavily played. Um, who's the third string running back for Dallas?
Third string or second string?
Well, not Beasley, the other guy.
You
Because
talking
like
about wide receiver?
yeah, because
Terrence Williams.
Terrence Williams. Yeah, I mean Terrence Williams might be a good tournament play. Like think
Yeah, he
about it.
played. Yeah, he's on the field a lot. He's just not very good, but yeah, he could win a tournament for sure. I like as my super sleeper Gavin Escobar. I told you about him, and you told me not to play him, but Washington gets tore up by tight ends, man. And Jared Cook just came back from an injury, and he's not all that great. He torched the Redskins. I could see Escobar if his. I mean, he could score 2 touchdowns, and
Hmm.
Jason Witten could catch like 5 balls for 60 yards or something like that. I like him as a tournament, and yeah, Deshaun Jackson's interesting too.
Yeah, I do like Deshaun Jackson's okay. Well, I mean, I guess yeah. I mean, if I'm thinking about it, yeah. If we're on tournament play, this guy, you're saving a lot of money because you're only spending like 4,500 to like 4,900 on the guy. Like Deshaun Jackson might be your guy because you're saving a lot of money, even though he's probably costing a little bit more than that. Like I said, I'm looking at Terrence Williams, and I don't know, like I think he's going to randomly have a touchdown. Like
Yeah,
he's going to
uh,
because like there's Washington secondary is going to be all over Dez and probably Cole. But I like the price that Terrence is at for tournament play. You like 4,900, and then you play him, and then you get some studs on the other team.
yeah,
I don't
and
know,
playing
like
the.
now thinking
Oh, go
about it,
ahead.
man.
Yeah,
I don't think I would pick my tournament from this game. Like my tournament pocket pick players from this game. Like
yeah,
just put the studs in and let's just let them roll. Like Elliott, Dak, and Dez, just have them all just roll out. And I mean, it should be according to this, like they should be what 28, 33 points around there, 34. This pretty high over under
yeah,
7 point favorites. I don't know, like when it comes to like even if you're going to play Washington side of the ball, I this isn't your tournament pick play. Like unless you go for like a Deshaun Jackson or a Pierre Garcon. Those are the only two that I really like for tournament play. But I mean, like it's just why aren't you playing like Des Bryant? Why aren't you playing Dak Prescott against a weak Washington team that gets torn up in the middle? Why aren't you playing Ezekiel Elliott that can run up the
no,
middle?
you are playing those guys, but I'm just saying you can play. It's not about value on the short slate like this. I feel like you need to separate yourself from everybody else, play low on guys that go the hell off. Like last night, the Raiders fullback had like 20 fantasy points, and I don't even know how much he was owned because I didn't see any lineups that had him. And
No,
he
he's
ripped
probably like zero, man.
Alawale. Did you? I mean, who owned him? Why would you play him? Because when you play him and he goes off, then you get all the points and no one else does. That's why you play those guys, you know?
Yeah, but for me, like with small slates, like you have enough money around where you can just be like, all right, I'm just going to stack my team up. Let's go. And more likely, as long as you have the big hitters, like you should be fine. Where you have like 1 to 2 pocket picks, like in like a Theo Reddick randomly, or like the problem is like what running backs are you going to play in this entire docket? I don't know. We'll get to that once we get there.
Yeah.
All
All
right.
right.
So let's go to the next game. Pittsburgh Steelers are 2.5. I'm sorry. They started off at 2.5 point favorite against the
Where are they at
Indianapolis
now?
Colts. Now they are a 9 point favorite.
Yeah, they were 8.5 earlier today.
Yeah, they're at 9 right now, and the over under dropped from 53 to 47. Um, if anything, your pocket pick is going to be Tolson, I think.
No, dude, no. Stop that.
Why? He gets
No.
like 2 touchdowns and 300 yards against a terrible Pittsburgh defense.
Yeah.
It could happen, even though Colts O line is absolutely terrible, so they can't protect anything. And even Tolson's on the doubtful list, or he's not doubtful, but probable injury list. Um, is Andrew Luck officially out of this game?
Well, there's a lot of pictures of him dressed like a Civil War uh dude on Twitter right now with notes to his mother. If you just Google or you type in Andrew Luck in Twitter, it's pretty funny shit, man. I don't think he's playing. It looks like Ian Rappaport said the Colts are planning to start quarterback Scott Tolzien on Thursday, and this is from yesterday.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. I mean, that's the only reason why that number dipped up so high.
Yes, definitely.
For the favorite. I mean, I definitely like all the Steelers studs. Big Ben, if you really want to start him.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, obviously, Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown. They're playing in a dome. They're not going to let weather affect them. This could be easily a game where Antonio Brown gets his like almost 200 yards again. He can easily come away from this like 150 and touchdown or two.
Sure.
Just because like I don't even know the Colts secondary. Like, do you have it brought up on your screen?
The PFF or what?
Yeah, PFF.
Yeah, let me check.
Because
For Pittsburgh, you're looking at Antonio Brown is really bright green right now. And I remember seeing that Vontae Davis was in a walking boot too. That's their top corner for Indianapolis.
yeah, this is probably I can easily see. Man, Frank Gore might be a random pocket pick out of this game.
Yeah, I like that pick.
Yeah, like the more I'm looking at it, like the not great defense over here, but the only issue is on FanDuel, you only have 2 running back slots. If you pick up, um, I mean, this is definitely going to separate you from the rest. If you start Frank Gore, then you're either not starting Elliott or Le'Veon Bell, which could end up working out nicely because if he scores the same amount of points as those three, or roughly around the same amount of points, you're definitely saving money because I don't see Frank Gore being higher than those 2 guys. But yeah, that's probably your pocket pick right there. Play of the day, probably Frank Gore. So therefore, you can start all your stud wide receivers and then just be like rolling.
I mean, you're guaranteed like 12 to 15 fantasy points with Gore. And I like that call, especially with if Scott Tolzien starts and they're getting whooped, I could see him, especially on DraftKings, catching a ton of balls, man.
hmm Um, I ran with like Doyle here, or
Yeah.
one of the running backs.
Tight ends?
Yeah, for the Colts, like just quick dropouts, quick drop passes, or quick slants up the middle. Because like I said, like I mean, even though starting Tolzien is probably absolute suicide when it comes down to it. I mean, this Colts offense, if Tolzien's clicking with a couple receivers or like Gore's doing his thing, you have to give him credit for the run, and then he's able to make some small 5, 6 yard passes down the field. They can get down in the end zone or red zone quite often because the Pittsburgh Steelers they, I mean, even though Dallas Cowboys are one or probably the best team right now, especially offensive line, that last touchdown run by Elliott was just so like demoralizing to ever start Pittsburgh Steelers like defense against anyone but the Browns, in my
Oh, I'm
opinion.
starting them this week. They're my top defense.
You really think so?
But against Scott Tolzien, look, you start Scott Tolzien, and I'll start the Steelers defense, and we'll compare who makes
What?
more money. Okay?
Look, you're probably right on that one, but I mean, like I said, I can see this Colts offense like going down the field, putting up some points. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually beat the spread of 9 points.
No, I think this is a major blowout.
Like,
Um,
okay. How about this then? Do you think it's going to go over 47? That's probably a better question then.
is
Because
that what the over/under's at?
yeah, it went from 53 to 47.
I think it'll go over.
Yeah. Because like I said, I don't like they could probably get beat by 10 points or more easily. But I see the Colts like being like somewhat in it for some reason. Like with Frank Gore as running back, like that dude's a workhorse and a half. He what was it when he played for San Francisco? He ran with a broken hip. So
Yeah,
I definitely can see the Colts like moving the ball down the field against a weak defense too. Let's not forget that the defensive side of the ball for Pittsburgh is not the greatest. So who knows? This still might be a good game to watch.
yeah. I think it'll be a little bit closer maybe, but I think Pittsburgh's gonna mess them up. And I have I've got a couple guys that I like. Obviously, I like Ben, Bell, and Brown, but I also have a feeling that one of the secondary wide receivers is gonna just have like a deep touchdown pass or go off, whether it be Hayward Bay or Sammy Coates. I think one of those guys um, could have a nice game. I know
Oh
Coates
no,
has
we forgot about
broken fingers.
you forgot about Eli Rogers.
Yeah, he plays out of the slot. I feel like, I mean, on PFF, let's see what they got going on. Yeah, Eli Rogers is in the slot. They have Kobe Hamilton set up at right wide receiver. I like the outside wide receivers more so for the Steelers. I
Well,
don't
what's
know
up with
much about this
Coates?
guy
Is he hurt?
Hamilton here. He's got broken fingers.
Oh
This
yeah.
this guy Kobe Hamilton, uh, he had 6 targets last week. Um, I'm gonna start each one of these guys and see if one of them catches a bomb touchdown pass from Big Ben.
All right, check
No
this
one's
little.
gonna be on those guys either.
Okay, and I'll give you that. Kobe Hamilton has only played 5 games, but he's been targeted 15 times and has only caught the ball 8 times. He's got 1 touchdown, 122 yards. I mean, yeah, he could
One
do
of
something, especially if he's
yeah, I
starting.
I feel like Hayward Bay is the guy I like most. Um, I don't know if he's practicing though.
That would definitely be a super tournament pick right there if he is playing,
Yeah,
because like he,
whoever starts outside, um, I want to have them in a few lineups just because no one's going to be on them. They're heavy favorites. They're in a dome. Big Ben's going to get right. Like all it takes is like a 60-yard touchdown pass, or get over
Mhm.
100 yards and a touchdown, and you have someone that separates you from everybody else.
Yep. I do like the way that sounds. And that definitely sounds like a very good tournament pick, to be honest with you,
Right?
right there. All right. So let's go on to our lineup that we made last week. And let's look at
Oh
this bad
yeah,
boy. Yeah.
blow that up, man.
That's, God,
Let's see
man.
it.
We're like the only thing that we're right on was Travis Kelsey and Vikings.
Vikings.
Everything else is just a complete dud. Antonio, like once I saw it was like potential snowing, I almost wanted to change this, but in the true spirit of the podcast, I was like, all right, let me keep this. But look at that, 28 18 and 17% owned. We're just totally like meta slaves. That we were like the only one that had Dwayne Washington for a good
Yeah,
3.1 points. All right,
I know.
so let's go ahead and let's make a lineup for the Thursday docket. Let's see.
You you want to do FanDuel or DraftKings?
Well, I'm doing FanDuel.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
You let's put it in a tournament here. You want to put it in the sweet potato dive?
Yeah, I got it in sweet potato dive. 100K
$1.
guarantee. That
All right,
$1
so
buy-in. Let's
we're
see.
going up against 117,000 lineups here. So let's pick our core group of players and try to get some separation.
All right. I mean, quarterback. We both like Dak, so I think he gets in the lineup.
Yeah. Well, what
Yeah.
about Ben? Who's got the higher implied point total here? Which team?
I'm not sure if this one says it, but I mean, it's got to be the Steelers.
Dallas,
Oh, Dallas does.
29, and then Steelers is 28.25. Let's freaking go with a Dak Dez stack.
All right, let's do that because I do love Dez. The funny thing is, let's hear. Is there anything else? Let's look at defense real quick.
Okay.
You just want to slam the worst defense on here and just put Pittsburgh Steelers up here just because the matchup?
Yes.
All right, we're
Dude,
rocking
I love that. Thank
God,
you.
I feel like it's going to be like heavily played though.
The Steelers D.
Yeah.
We'll separate ourselves somewhere else, man. Let's take.
What about
Let's take
Minnesota?
that.
What about Minnesota's D? Like Detroit,
Okay, I can
30th
get
in
down
rush.
I can get down on either of them, but I mean, you've got Scott Tolzien starting against. They're going to be so down, dude.
All right. Well, we'll go
And then
Bowman
you've got but I like the Vikings too, but I think the Steelers they have much more like ceiling than the Vikings.
Yeah, I can see the Lions like because it is conference game and it's at Detroit. Like they just run up the score. I don't know.
It could be a lot of punting and not a lot of interceptions and stuff too, but I feel like the Steelers against Tolzien, they're heavy favorites. They're going to be down big too because Ben's going to shred that defense. It's a great spot to take a defense against a poor quarterback, and
All right. So we have Pittsburgh in there. So let's take a look at.
I wasn't finished talking about the Steelers defense, dude.
Man, you can get off their bandwagon right now.
All right, so we got them in there. Are we doing Dak and Dez here?
Yeah, we got the Dak and Dez in here. Can you see my screen?
Barely. It's tiny, but I got you. Right. What do you think about going Zeke too? Get all the points.
Just get all the points. The only thing I don't like about that is like I want to run Frank Gore.
All right. Well, let's put Gore and
Elliott. Gore and Elliott or Gore Bell?
I'd rather do Bell and Elliott.
Yeah. God, you're saving so much money though. But I don't know. We'll see.
What are we doing?
I don't know. I put Elliott and Bell up there, and
yeah,
I really like Gore, man. Like that's going to be our separation right there, Frank Gore.
No, it's not. You think it's going to be less owned? He'll be at least 25% owned.
No way.
1 out of 4 teams will have him. Yeah. Elliott's going to be like 70% owned. Dak will be like 50.
So you just want to put Bell and Elliott up there and then just go from there?
I mean, do you see any running backs that could really like steal the show down here? I'm not really seeing them, man. Yeah, I'd rather play these guys with like huge upside and punt at some like wide receiver or tight end.
Okay. Let's pick a kicker so we can get that out of the way because that will give us more money.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
they've got a Minnesota kicker in here now. Kai Forbath. He wasn't up here before. They had Blair Walsh there still.
yeah, because Blair Walsh got axed at the very last minute.
Yeah.
I do sort of like either Prater or Forbath. Um, because reason one, we're running thin on. We can't play another Dallas guy, and if we do, like we play Dan Bailey. That's it. We're done.
Yeah, you can
Um,
only play 4 Dallas guys.
I like Matt Prater. No, hold on.
I don't really care. I think Boswell could be good. We've only got one guy. He could be kicking some field goals and a lot of extra points. Um,
Hold on. Did you just say Pittsburgh's going to kick a lot of extra points?
well, yeah, they do go for 2 a lot, don't they?
Well, what about Hopkins? Like, do you think the Washington's offense is good enough to get down to the red zone against the Dallas defense, where like he's at least kicking the ball no matter what scenario it is, like field goal or extra point?
Well, I think the game for that might be the other one, but I do like that. Let's put him in, okay?
Hold on. Let's relook at Dusty. What Dustin got us? 6 points against Green Bay.
Yeah,
They just dominated.
that were all touchdowns, man. They're all PATs.
Yeah, but I think Dallas is definitely a way better defense.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to just do whatever they want.
All right, so we
Man,
got 2 wide receivers and a tight end slot.
All right.
So this is where our separation is going to be at.
Yeah. I'll let you pick one. I'll be nice.
Thanks. Wide receiver.
That's where you can go super deep, dude. Well, let's take a look at this. What spots do you like? We like Dallas versus Washington, right? We like going against Detroit's defense. We like going against Indianapolis's defense. So
I mean, we'll go with my boy that I like, Adam Thielen.
He's not going to be low owned, though.
You really don't think so?
No, I don't like him, but we can put him in.
Well, yeah.
He's been playing well.
Yeah. All right, let's see. What else do we have?
I'd rather go with Cordell Patterson if you want to go in that game. Like, he's a good tournament play.
He had 13 points against the number 1 ranked wide receiver defense. Do we like any of the Redskin guys, like Crowder?
Yeah, I like Crowder.
Do you just want to throw him in on the lineup?
I'd rather go Deshaun Jackson. He's cheaper, so he saves us a little bit. And
what's going on with the shoulder injury?
He should be good. He played all last week. He's limited. I don't know, man. He might do something to the Cowboys, dude.
God, look at Crowder's numbers, man. Last 4 weeks, 14, 21, 12, 17. That dude's on fire.
Yeah.
What about
He's a better cash game play, man.
What about Pierre Garçon? He's averaging more points than Deshaun.
Yeah, but in a tournament, like Pierre Garçon went off last week.
So you think everyone's riding that hype train?
Yeah. So.
Oh, okay. Well, how about this then? If we're going deep, let's pick up the outside wide receiver to Pittsburgh.
All right. Well, who do you like? Let's see.
Kobe, whatever his name is.
I want to see if Hayward Bay is coming back. I'd rather play Coates or Hayward Bay. But maybe we could play Hamilton. I don't feel like he's going to do anything. I think if he starts outside, it's going to be not worth playing him, if that makes sense.
All right. Let's go to tight ends real. Well, you're going to look up who's starting, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. Tight ends. I really like Kyle Rudolph.
Yep.
Even though he only had one good game in the last four. Um, Jack Doyle might randomly be good, but we're like anti Colts. Then
Hayward Bay's out today. Um, let's see about Sammy Coates.
well, you said he has broken fingers, right?
But he might be. Let's see
No,
if there's anything about him.
I refuse to put a broken finger guy on my lineup. Even if he does go off, hindsight, oh my god, look at no. We can't put a
Let's
broken finger guy up there, man.
let's put Hamilton in.
All right, where is Hamilton?
He's 4,500.
There's a lot of 4,500s up here. Boom. Oh, that's why he's not even wearing a Steelers uniform.
Yeah, that's from I don't know what team he was on before. I don't know
The
anything
Saints?
about this guy, but if when you pull him up on his FanDuel player card, it's all green, and he's starting, and everyone else is hurt or not playing. But I will say this: if Hayward Bay plays, let's throw his ass in there.
Nah, I'm fine like this. Well,
Okay.
we're going deep here. All right.
All right.
So tight end, we have pretty much. Let's see.
Well, let's take a look at this. Where do you want to attack? I like attacking Detroit and Dallas and Washington, really.
The only thing is, like, Jordan Reed. You break my heart every other week almost, but I love you. But he's super. He's super up there. Where
He's
like,
expensive.
yeah, like, what about Jason Witten? Even though we have Des Bryant up here,
I like Jason Witten. I feel like
Kyle Rudolph. Like Kyle Rudolph is screaming at me. Maybe Ebron. What about Ebron? Even though it's not a
yeah,
great matchup, he's like something on the Detroit side of the ball has got to be doing something, right? I don't
yeah.
know.
I'm down to put him in. I told you I like Escobar as a deep sleeper, but Rudolph's good. He's gonna be very highly owned. Hey, what about for the Steelers? They've got we could put Jesse James in there or Ladarius Green, who hasn't done anything. I mean, that's not a reason to play him, but they're going to see the field and they're in a high point total offense, you know?
What happened last week? Failed to catch either of his two targets. So he was targeted twice, and Green dropped both of them.
I think, yeah.
Hmm. God, Doyle's looking very nice for me, but I don't know. I mean, if you want to check Detroit, we can just go Kyle Rudolph.
Yeah, that's going to be really chalky, but I think it might be a good play. Let's go Jordan Reed, man. We've got Dak, Dez, and Elliott. If Jordan Reed can do something on the other side of the ball, that's a nice like game stack.
Okay, so here's the only issue with that.
We
There's
don't,
my boy Terrence Williams.
we
Lock
can
it
do
in.
that.
So Dez
You
and Terrence.
Um,
We have Sammy Coates up here, but he's got broken fingers. He only played one snap too. Well, he was on the team for 15 special team snaps.
who's that?
Sammy Coates.
Yeah,
That's kind of weird, isn't it? Against the Browns, like, why would you only play one offensive snap and then 15 special team snaps? Like,
yeah.
is he done right now? Like, is he?
Maybe he's it said he'd been demoted, but It says on FanDuel, it's like with that in mind, Coates won't be a viable fantasy option until his fingers heal up to the point that his pass catching ability is no longer hampered. So maybe that's this week. I don't know.
Okay, so here's the problem we're at right now. We have too many studs, and our best option is what? Terrence Williams? Let's see here. How deep can we go? um, hmm.
Let's put Terrence Williams and Dez in there, and then throw Sammy Coates in there. If he gets some playing time and gets his stuff together, then we'll be good.
Can we?
Yeah, let's do it.
I refuse to put Coates up there, man.
All right, let's put Hamilton back in.
I mean, I have Hamilton in.
All right, we'll book it. Let's go.
Well, who's the other wide receiver? Williams?
I'm fine with Williams.
Are you fine with Jordan Reed, though?
Yeah, I like him.
Terrence Williams, Des Bryant. All right, we're booking it. Boom. There it is, folks. All right. How long have we been doing this for? Oh, 51 minutes. Yeah. Good job
That's
keeping
not
it
bad.
short, right? We only talked about 3 games, and the beginning part was kind of rough. All right. So we got the jersey of the day, and it goes to the sound guy that got demolished by the Vikings player. That was pretty funny.
That was funny. I didn't see that till you sent it to me.
Yeah, it was just like, it was perfect. Like when you had the no catch for Jordy Nelson's, that was pretty good, but I think this one definitely takes the cake. All right, so that'll be our wrap up for the Daily Fish podcast. Let us know what you think if you're watching, all 3 of our fans.
We have anyone watching?
We got one person watching. I don't know if it's us or video output low. We had a peak of 3 people watching at one point. Nice. All right. Well, that will do it for today. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. My name is Charles. This is Dustin. Hit us up on Twitter. Tell us what you think about the podcast or let us know. We definitely appreciate it. Comment on this YouTube video, Twitter. We do appreciate that. Soon we're going to be coming out with the Facebook and the Twitter for just the podcast, which is pretty sweet.
I actually set that up today.
Nice. That's what's up. So
the Twitter's at the Daily Fish Pod.
At the Daily Fish Pod. Okay.
Yeah.
So start incorporating that and everything. So I'm Charles. This is Dustin, and see you guys later.